What's up everyone, my name is Kelsey. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're starting a vlog, and this is very impromptu and I didn't plan for it at all, but it is for the book push readathon? Book pushathon? I can't remember the actual name. Anyways, it's Maddie at the Book Pushers readathon that she also planned at the last minute, so we have a theme going on here. Basically, I'm just vlogging for content. I have been stupid busy with school for the last few weeks and I haven't had time to plan any sort of videos, and I have a bunch of videos like in the works, but they all require research and writing that I have to do, and I just haven't had time to do any of that shit. So vlogs and wrap-ups are all I'm capable of right now. And we're just gonna go with it. There are prompts for this readathon, but I can't remember what they are. I have like 4 books on my TBR, and they are, let's see if I can remember them. Oh, A Dream So Dark by L.L. McKinney, which is the sequel to A Blade So Black. I read that last month and I loved it, so I'm excited for the sequel. It's the first one I planned because I knew I wanted to read it this week. I'm also reading a book of poetry called Nature Poem by Tommy Pico, and one of the challenges to read a book in one day, and I just read quite quickly enough to do a novel in a day, so poetry, we're going with that. I'm also reading, I think one of the challenges is to read a book for the aesthetic, and for that I'm reading, what is it? There's birds on the cover, it's blue. This is so terrible. Okay, I'm gonna put up the chart of all the books I plan to read over here so you can just look at them and find out the names. But the authors are Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. I remember that, but I can't remember the name of the fucking book. And then the last one I'm reading is, I can't remember the name of that one either, but I have a better idea of what it's about. It is the first book in the Chesapeake Bay series by Nora Roberts. One of the challenges is to read a comfort read or a wholesome book or something like that. And I've been meaning to reread this series for a while because it used to be one of my favorites when I was like in middle school. And I found all of the books, all 4 of them, at a library sale. And I just want to like read them again and see if they're as good as I remember or if they're garbage. Because I've done a couple of books that I reread because I wanted to see if I still like them, and they were absolute garbage, like really bad. So hopefully these will be better. I hope I'm not misremembering them because I really, really loved them. But right now, today is day 1 of the readathon. It's Monday, and I think this readathon goes until Sunday is the last day. I'm actually finishing up a book that's not for this readathon. Okay. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, which I am halfway through, and hopefully I think I can finish it tonight. I mean, I should probably do like a little more homework. No, I'm gonna finish it tonight. If you're not aware, If We Were Villains is an adult, what do they call that? Words are failing me today. All of my caffeine is worn off. Dark academia. So it follows this like really small elite cult-like university of theater students, like a group of theater students who only perform Shakespeare, and one of them dies or is murdered or something, and there's an investigation. So we're following from this one guy's perspective 10 years after the fact when he's getting out of prison, and he's telling this story to someone else. So it's really good. I'm very sucked into the mystery, and it also, like, I asked on Twitter because the book just feels very gay. Like, it's giving me gay vibes. Like, there's a gay atmosphere, if that makes sense. But I hadn't heard that it was gay at all, so I asked on Twitter, and apparently it is. And, you know, I'm waiting to see where that's going. I'm excited to see where it comes into play. Let me know if you know what I mean by, like, a gay atmosphere. Because it sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, but I feel like we all know what I mean. I feel like I'm reading another book. What's the other one I'm reading? Oh, I'm reading an arc of another book. I can't remember. You know what? I'm just going to tell you guys about that later because the details are foggy. I need some caffeine in my system to get my words straight. So I'll just update you later. What's up? It is Tuesday evening. I just filmed my July wrap up. It was so long. It was It was like 50 minutes long. It's outrageous. I read 14 books in July, which is why it took so fucking long. And, you know, I really liked some of them and I really hated some of them. And those are the ones I talk about the longest. All right, reading update. I finished If We Were Villains and I'm super fucked up over it. You know, no one told me that I would cry at If We Were Villains. No one told me how gay it was, which I already mentioned. And I was looking at reviews, or I was just like looking it up to see what other people said. And someone said that the fact that it's gay is a spoiler. Totally disagree, because I saw it from like page 30 and I'm bad at subtext. Like, I don't usually pick up on shit like that, and even I picked up on it. So unless you consider 30 pages into a book spoiler territory, it's okay to know that this book is gay. What else do I have to update on? The other book I'm reading, which the name I forgot, I still can't remember. It's an arc I have. It's a young adult mystery about a girl whose childhood friend went missing, and now she has like some sort of true crime podcast that she runs. There's a female-female relationship, which is why I requested this arc, because I'm always looking for like mysteries and thrillers with queer characters, but I'm not very far into it, maybe like 3% into this book. The writing is pretty good so far. Like right now she's a child, so it's pretty immature, but it's meant to be. And let's see, since I finished If We Were Villains, I'm starting on my first actual pick for this readathon, and I think it's going to be A Dream So Dark, just because I'm so excited for it. Wait, here it is. I just talked about Blade So Black in my wrap-up, and it got me all hyped for this again. Can't wait to see what Alice is up to. Someone told me that there's a new love interest in book 2, which I can't wait for. Not because I don't like the first love interest, but because I live for the drama. Now I'm actually going to go try and edit some of this video because it's supposed to go up tomorrow, which means I have to do some of it tonight and the rest I'll finish on my lunch tomorrow. I just realized I haven't taken any like pretty aesthetic footage for my vlog yet. It's just me talking, so I'm gonna have to get on that. I'll update you tomorrow. What's up? It is Wednesday. I just got done playing some like virtual trivia with my family for Schitt's Creek. It was Schitt's Creek trivia. We did terribly. I think we were in like fifth from last place out of 13 teams. So what is that, like 9th place? It was bad. It was bad. Reading update. I am on page 34 of A Dream So Dark. It's really good. Once again, I still love Alice, and I love her mom so much. She's already featured in the first few pages of this book, and she's just so like no bullshit with Alice's mom, and I love that about her. This book is like really jumping straight into the action. Like the first book kind of left off on a cliffhanger where there was like a kind of dire situation, and this book is picking up exactly where that left off, so it's very intense and I'm very worried. I'm also still reading, and I can remember the actual name of the book this time is I Hope You're Listening by Tom Ryan. And it is a young adult thriller, and I'm at the point where this girl is a teenager now instead of a child, and she's kind of, it is a podcast, and it's actually, like, it's feeling a little derivative because it reminds me, I never read Sadie, I think that was it, Sadie by Courtney Summers, but I know that there's a crime podcast involved, and this book also has a crime podcast about missing girls, and the name of the podcast is Radio Silent, which reminds me of Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. So it feels very familiar, even though I've never even read Sadie, but I enjoy the writing, and it's female, and I believe we have just seen the love interest for the first time. She just moved in across the street, so I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Right now I have to finish up some homework, honestly. I'm probably not going to finish it. I have to work on a little bit of homework before I go to bed, and then I'm going to read some more. Maybe I'll get to page, I'm going to try to get to page like 80 before I go to bed. We'll see how that goes. And I'll update you tomorrow. up? It is Saturday. Not surprisingly, I have not updated for 2 days. And you know, if you've ever watched one of my vlogs before, that's not that unusual. Luckily though, today I have to do one more discussion board post for a class and then I'm done with my summer semester. So that frees up a lot of time and that means I can get a lot more reading done today. So I think this readathon technically ends tomorrow, but I'm always wrong about that. But I'm going to be vlogging through tomorrow either way. This morning, I plan to finish up A Dream So Dark, which I am like 2/3 of the way through. I'm super into it. I love the story. It's doing that like classic book 2, like the gang gets separated deal, but sometimes that doesn't work for me, but in this case it is really working for me. Mostly because I like all of the new characters being introduced, and I'm liking where the romances are going, because there's like, in the first book, I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything. I guess I'll just say in this book, the original romance is getting mixed up a bit, and I'm super into it. Like, I like where this is going, and I can't wait to see like where it ends up, and I don't think book 3 is out yet, which is really upsetting. Because I'm going to have to wait for book 3 to see the ending. I'm also, I think almost 30% into I Hope You're Listening, and that book is by Tom Ryan. I don't know if I've even said the author's name yet, but it's the young adult thriller that I'm reading. It is, I don't know, the story is interesting, and I really like the main character, and there is a female-female relationship developing, but, and I know this is an advanced copy, so there are always going to be editing errors and like formatting problems, but the formatting problems are really bad. Like, I feel like whole passages are like out of order, and it's really confusing, and it keeps throwing me out of the story. And when I rate it, I'm going to assume that those issues will be corrected in the final book, because you kind of have to when you're reading an advanced copy, but it's really throwing me off, like the whole reading experience. After I finish A Dream So Dark, I think I'm actually going to switch up my read a book in a day from Nature Poem, which is what I originally had, and instead read Skyward, whose author I don't remember, but I have the graphic novel out from my library and it's due tomorrow, so I really have to finish it, and I think that's the one I'm going to do. This one comes highly recommended from Camille. I can't remember her channel name. I think it's Brews and Books. Books and Brews. I'll link it down below. But it was in her, I think, graphic novel recommendations video, and it was available, so I picked it up. Alright, I'm gonna wrap up this update. I think my boyfriend is on the way with donuts, so that's gonna be my breakfast. And I'll update you all later. Hopefully I'll get a lot of reading done today. It's still Saturday. I just finished reading Skyward Volume 1 and I'm a little fucked up over it. Like, it was way sadder than I expected it to be. I don't know, I never expect graphic novels to really get to me, but this one got to me. So that's a 5-star read. And then I also finished A Dream So Dark earlier and I really loved it. Not as much as the first one, but it was still like a 4.5-star read, so I rated it 5 stars. And I'm dying for the next one. The end was just, I don't know, so much happened, and like, I don't know, I have a theory that I can't really talk about because I don't want to give you spoilers, but like, I'm like pretty sure at this point. I would be surprised if this theory is not correct. But yeah, I just really love this series. I love Wonderland, and I love the way McKinney put Wonderland together and like the royal structure of the whole thing, and how the whole plot is playing out, and how she like remade these characters, because so many of the like the character names are clearly inspired by the original Wonderland, but they're so different too, and I just love it. It's so magical. Okay, so the next book, that's actually 2 books down now for my TBR that I had planned, even though I switched one of them out. Still counts, 2 books down. So now I'm going to start the Nora Roberts book. Let me grab it. Okay, sorry, I dropped the camera there for a second. So it's Sea Swept. You can see this is in excellent condition. It's very old. So I kind of want to talk about what I remember of this book and then see how close my recollection is. Let's see, when was this written? I think it was written in the 90s. 98. So I was probably like 10 years old when I read this. We'll see how steamy it is and if like that was super inappropriate for me as a child. Okay, so from what I remember, this is about, the original trilogy is about 3 brothers who were adopted by this guy, and it follows them now that they're adults and they all have different careers. But when their father dies, they're all brought back together and they find out that he has adopted another kid who's like young, and they decide that they all have to work together to give this kid like a good home. So they open up a boat detailing or building business, like luxury sailboats. So this first book follows Cameron. I feel like this series was so formative in like my understanding of character archetypes. So Cameron is a boat racer, and he's like a womanizer, and he's the bad boy of the trio. And like each of the characters and the love interests, which are all women because this was the 90s, so everyone's hetero. But this first woman is like the tough but sensitive social worker who just wants the best for Seth and is worried that these 3 disparate adopted brothers aren't going to cut it for him. And we'll see how it goes. I really hope I still like it. I'm gonna be disappointed if I hate it now when I loved it so much when I was younger. All right, this is just a quick update before I go to bed for the night. I am, how many pages? 63 pages into Sea Swept, and it's making me very nostalgic. I forgot, like, first of all, this book smells so good. It smells like old book, and it's great. Second, I forgot how much the adoptive parents of these boys remind me of my own grandparents, so it's making me a little emo, honestly. Both of my grandparents passed away, and like, I don't know what it is about these 2. They just remind me of them so bad, but like in a good way. But other than my nostalgia trips, there is the amount of misogyny and objectifying women that I expected out of a book written in the 90s. I mean, I was hoping I was misremembering, but I'm not. There really is. Other than the misogyny, I am actually really enjoying it. I forgot how, like, all 3 of these adopted brothers were abused, and that's why they ended up with the Quinns. And I forgot how rough that was to read about. But I just really love the way these brothers act together, and I really love Seth, who's like the newest, the youngest adopted one. Like, the poor kid, I just want him to be happy. That's what this whole series, I remember just wanting them all to be happy and heal from their trauma. The woman in this book I've only met for 1 chapter, but her name is Anna, and she's the social worker for Seth's case. And if I remember correctly, I think this book is my least favorite of all of them, because I find Cameron's aggression kind of obnoxious. He's very masculine, like he yells a lot and shit like that, and that just bugs me. But I do like Anna, so we'll see how it goes. This book is like 340 pages long, so there's quite a bit more to get through. What's up? It is Sunday afternoon. What time is it? Oh, Sunday evening. It's 5. I am pretty far into Sea Swept, 253 pages, and to be honest, it's not going great. There is just so much misogyny, and I just hate this guy. He's definitely my least favorite of the brothers, and the longer I read, the more I remember that. Like, I must have reread this series dozens of times, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the times I just skip this book because I dislike him so much. He's just very aggressive and the epitome of toxic masculinity, and he's just so full of himself and such a douchebag, and I'm not into it. These sex scenes in this book are atrocious. They are like well beyond the realm of the possible. Like, I don't want to get too into it, but like I mean, literally, physically, just not possible. And I mean, almost comically. So it's, I mean, I got into a discussion about this on a Discord I'm a part of, and like someone pointed out that in this time, like the late 90s, it was probably all about the fantasy, like the target market being bored housewives and wanting just like the fantasy of a man who could like magically, I don't know, give you orgasms without any sort of actual reason to. I don't know, it's just so ridiculous. But I do still love Seth, who is the 10-year-old in this story. I just really love him as a character, and I want him to be happy, and he's just so sweet. And I love, my favorite scenes by far are when all three of the older brothers are together, and like the way they fight with each other and banter is just super entertaining. But that's pretty much all this book has going for it. It's feeling like a 2.5 star at this point. I'll definitely like read the rest of them as part of this experiment I'm doing. It's just, you know, this is not great. It's definitely a product of its time, for sure. I just ordered my dinner, which is going to be Chipotle, and I feel like I'm going to finish this pretty soon. Like, it's a very quick read, and I've read it so many times that like I don't even really need to pay that much attention. And when I do, I'm going to be picking up This Is How You Lose the Time War. It's 5, I don't know, that's kind of a short book. It might still be possible for me to finish both of these today. But actually I'm doing a family Zoom call tonight, so maybe not. I guess it depends how long that lasts. We'll see. I'll update you all later after I finish this. I have eaten dinner and finished this book. It's a solid 2 star. I'm very disappointed. I don't know. The end was this. The conflict in the relationship, I don't know, it seems sincere, but it resolved really quickly. And also Anna, the woman, like threw a bunch of shit at the guy, and I don't understand why that's acceptable at all, especially since she's a social worker and deals with abusive partnerships all the time. So I don't know why that was okay. And it was, you know, it's painfully hetero. There's so many times where they call each other males and females. I'm not a fan of that. And lots of generalizations about women and men. Like, Anna's made a comment about how Seth, the kid's language wouldn't improve if he's living in a house full of men, and that just seems dumb to me. And the main guy, Cam, made this comment about how women always make relationships complicated. I just, you know, not a fan of any of that. So I only liked Seth, the other 2 brothers, and the dogs. So now I'm on to This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. All I know about this is that it's like a time-traveling sapphic Romeo and Juliet. That's what I've heard. It's pretty short, so there's like a chance that I could finish it today. There's a possibility, but I have heard that the writing is very flowery, and it always takes me longer to read books like that. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. What's up? It is actually my hair. Why are you doing that? That's better. It's Monday after work. I did not finish all 4 books, damn it. But I'm like reasonably close. So I'm on page 67 of This Is How You Lose the Time War. It's okay. It is basically what I feared would happen, is that I am not feeling the writing style at all. Feels really pretentious to me. The only parts I like are the actual letters they're writing to each other, mostly because they feel a little more personal. And I am noticing that the farther into the book I get, the more I'm enjoying it. It's like the characters are slowly getting more casual with each other, and I'm liking that more. But this is a time travel story, and it's like these two agents on different sides of this time war, and they're going to like random places in history and these different timelines. So some things are just like Earth history, and some things are like future, and some things are like alternate histories. And I find that every time they go to like, I just don't give a shit about any of these places that they're going to, and they keep describing them and the things that they're doing in them, and I just don't care about them at all. So I'm just not really enjoying those parts. I don't know. I wish I had finished this during this vlog, but it's fine. It'll be in my wrap up. So that's it for this reading vlog. That was the Book Push readathon. It was a good time. I wish I had read a little more, but it's all right. If you participated, let me know what you read. I would love to hear it for each prompt. If you've read any of the books I read, please let me know, especially if you've read any Nora Roberts and want to complain about it with me, because that book was, it was rough. It was a rough time. All right, if you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe. I post book-related videos every Wednesday. If you want to keep talking, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Kelsey Reads, or Goodreads at Kelsey Lynn Reads. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.